Alright, now it is very clear this tournament was probably the tournament that doesn't matter whatsoever, a silver series right after Worlds, but we still had some amazing aces and a 6-hole playoff. Let's talk about it. And I would really appreciate it if you guys supported me by buying my brand new bags I just dropped. I've been working on them for the past year, and I truly think they're the best bags for under 200. So with FPO, there really wasn't too many people in the field, 7 players, which may set the stage for not exciting disc golf, but we still had some pretty good stuff. Deanne Carey was within 2 strokes of Ella in the final round, and it was looking like it might be a battle, but ultimately Deanne just could not pull through. Still had a great finish, matching her best finish of the year at New Worlds, and with first in Circle 1 and Circle 2, definitely can't be too disappointed, but the true domination here was Ella Hansen. She was really on display with her elite level distance and her surprisingly good shot shaping in the woods. We definitely don't think of Ella as like the most elite player when it comes to accuracy, but she was showing herself to be probably one of the better players in the woods. Now sure, if we had like a healthy Paige or Kristen there, she might have looked a little bit different, but we don't, so we only can reference what we do know. And besides a 67% Circle 1 and a pretty weak Circle 2, overall just great stuff for Ella. And I really like to see her very smooth, effortless forehands putting in work, and she was getting very creative with one of these shots. She had a scuba / like tomahawk over the woods that got right up to the basket. I do not even know how you think about that shot, but having that creativity when you are just trapped behind these treacherous woods shows that she has a good level of confidence in her game, and she's not afraid to pull out any crazy shots. So ultimately, Elle takes first by 9 strokes. Good stuff, and I hope to see more wins from her because this is her first win on tour. But on to MPO. So even though this was kind of like the battle between Eagle and Isaac on the final round, I think Gavin was looking probably the best he has ever looked, and maybe we just don't see him on coverage very much because he's not like always in the mix, but he was looking so dialed in, and I watched a lot of him at Worlds, and he was also probably one of the best players that I saw all weekend. So it isn't really too surprising, but I do love to see him shredding it on this course. And he finishes the event with 46% from Circle 2. But with that, it definitely needs to be noted that he did finish 68% from Circle 1. So clearly he's having some kind of misstep there. Kind of feels like KJ-esque, where you make more of your Circle 2 than you make a Circle 1. But still amazing shots, and I think he has a lot of confidence going into USDGC. And just want to briefly note that Thomas Gilbert has been a great player in the past, but he finished over like 100th at Worlds, and now he finishes barely in the top 10 here. Just not really sure what's going on with Thomas, but I think he's a great player, and I think he just needs to work out some stuff because he clearly is not in his like stride right now, but I know he is definitely a great player. All right, so the true battle was Eagle versus Isaac. I think it was definitely clear in the final round that we might get a playoff, and even though Eagle made so many good Circle 2 putts, he just had a bit of a flat line in the final round where he just wasn't getting the birdies like he wanted to, and he did take a bogey on hole 14. So even though his putting was electric this entire weekend, he ultimately falls just a little bit short. Isaac clutches up, gets an 8 under on the round, which is one of the best rounds of the weekend, and we get a freaking playoff. And I think this is like the ultimate recipe for entering disc golf in a tournament that ultimately doesn't matter. And it's also hilarious because it's freaking Isaac Robinson, just announced world champion, who you would expect to have no level of interest in like really giving it his all. But he's a pro, Eagle's a pro, we get some playoff holes. And the playoff was hilarious. It is 1 and 8 repeating, and these holes are about 800 feet each, and you may be thinking like, oh sweet, that sounds like a really cool playoff. Well, Eagle and Isaac are shredders, they have distance, they have accuracy, so this was kind of a mistake by the TD because they made these holes look incredibly easy, and shot after shot after shot after shot, they just continued to birdie, and you cannot end a playoff if nobody gives up. So it was looking like it might be a freaking like 18-hole playoff because there was basically no give from anyone. They didn't even have to really make much putts because they were basically parked every single time, and there was talk that like they might play until dark. I don't actually know what like the sunset time was in the middle of nowhere, Canada, but ultimately we do get a champion, and it's freaking Eagle McMahon. So Isaac does not get the back-to-back major then silver series, which would have been hilarious. I don't think that's ever really been done besides maybe Paul a while back, but it basically was only because Isaac went in the hazard, and you can't really get a birdie from the hazard unless you throw it in, but they did have many looks at throw-ins. But Eagle jams in an edge of circle putt, which was still kind of stressful. It definitely was able to be missed, making him the champion of the Discmania Open, and wins in hilarious fashion because you could tell both players were just exhausted, not even just throws, but it was heavy elevation going from each hole. So I bet even the fans are pretty tired from this playoff. So with that said, what do you guys think about this? Were you watching it all? Were you like, wow, this is like kind of intense, but also not intense because it doesn't really matter? Love to hear about it. Even the commentators were like kind of making fun of it. I just thought it was very interesting tone. But with that said, going from this, we get Maple Hill next weekend. It should be electric. I cannot wait. Be sure to subscribe for more, and be sure to check out my brand new bags I just dropped and use code WORLDS2023 for a 15% discount. It would really support me. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Wild Runs signing out. Peace.